Everyone says you must prepare for a negotiation, but what does that even mean? Practicing in front of a mirror, meditating so that you are in your best state, or rethinking again and again the words you're going to use when you drop the bomb? Well, let's find out. Most people are insecure before entering a negotiation. There's no exact recipe on how to always get the best deal, but taking the following steps will massively increase your chances to do so. So here are the 5 steps that you want to complete before you enter a negotiation next time. Let's start with step number 1, and that is about finding out what you really want. It's our invitation for you to brainstorm any point that is potentially valuable for you. Maybe it's simple, maybe it's just, hey, you want a higher salary, but maybe there are different dimensions to that could also be of value, such as having more holidays, having a new office, getting a promotion, getting a daily massage from your boss. I don't even know what it is. Just go and find out. And hey, if you want to, do meditate. Step number 2, you make an agenda. Here's where you list all the points that you feel need to be discussed. And for every single point, you find out, what do I want? These are your positions. And what about that is important for me? These are your interests and needs. Quick example, let's say what you want is a higher salary. That would be your position. And how to get to the interests and needs from there, you ask, what about that salary raise is it that is important for me? Maybe it's some long overdue recognition for your work. Maybe it's a matter of integrity because someone in the same organization that does exactly the same job currently gets paid more than you. So yes, do think about your own interests and needs, but also think about the interests and needs of the other party. And especially think about the interests and needs that you both have in common. Why? Quick explanation. The big challenge in negotiations we see is that positions, these very concrete things that we battle about, are oftentimes incompatible. Yeah, I want the salary raise, and the other guy thinks, oh my God, but then I will have less money to, I don't know, give to others, invest, or take home myself. Yeah, or something like, imagine a couple that wants to get divorced. She wants the house, and he also wants the house. Yeah, these are seemingly incompatible positions. And if we ask, what about that salary raise or what about that house is important for you, we usually find that interests and needs are way more compatible if we start to brainstorm innovative solutions on how these interests and needs can be met. Bonus tip, asking what you want for most people is already the hardest bit. We oftentimes refrain from asking what we want because we fear to be rejected, we fear to get a no. And if that really sounds like you, I have one amazing antidote for you. List at least 5 things as to why what you're asking is fair, as to why what you're asking is perfectly legitimate. Maybe it's fair to get a higher salary because someone else is doing exactly that same work. Maybe it's because they promised it to you when you entered that job. Maybe it's because you are very sure that the value you deliver is way higher than what you're currently paid. And this magically does 2 things for you. First of all, you really have to think about your own standards of fairness. Yeah? Maybe you have to do some research like, hey, do these other people really get paid more, or what's really going on? Did they actually promise this to me, or I don't know, was it sort of like left out in the blue? And think not just about what are your standards for fairness, but what kind of standards for fairness would be accepted by the other party. And the second thing this does to you is an amazing booster for your subconsciousness, because once you've gone through these 5 things and really imprinted them upon yourself, your subconsciousness is going to struggle to shut up and withdraw again in the next negotiation. And the second half about step number 2 is you brainstorm options. You brainstorm as many options as you can think of that satisfy your, not your positions, but your interests and needs. So you want more recognition. What does that mean for you? What would help you get that? You know, is it more holidays, a new promotion, a new office? What are all the things they can do to make you happy? Why do we do this? Oftentimes, we are reaching points in negotiations where literally the other counterparty cannot or doesn't want to give you the thing that you've asked for because for some reason, in their view, it's unreasonable. And what makes fantastic negotiators is if you can counter quickly, if you can immediately pull off a list of options that would also make you happy, that maybe cost them less, but that still would allow you to tie a package deal, which at the end of the day, you would still both be satisfied with. Step 3 is about your BATNA and the relationship you want to have with the other party. BATNA means the best alternative to the negotiated agreement. So it's basically what happens for you in case there is no deal. Yeah, and it's a really important question to ask. Would you quit if you don't get that salary raise? Would you switch departments? What would happen? It's powerful to know your BATNA because in case the thing that is on the table is lower than your BATNA, guess what? You're out. You're so out. And your BATNA makes it easier for you to decide when and based on what you would say yes to any potential deal. Second bonus tip, if you want to increase your confidence, go out and find a better BATNA. In other words, find a really good alternative that you might potentially have to any failed deal. Sounds easy, is easy, and I hope it makes sense. So the process we've been going through in step number 2 is called principled negotiations. And if that's something you want to learn more about, let us know in the comments. Now that was about your BATNA. Let's talk about the relationship you want to have with the other party. It's basically the question, do you want them to like you or can you afford to not have them like you? In other words, will you go for win-win or will you go for win-lose? And this is a story that deserves a whole lot of videos on its own, but to make it short, most people will recommend you to go for win-win simply because any win-lose situation will likely cause you to have enemies. And while that might be okay in some cases, I have so far not seen any situation where it completely didn't matter. Simply because most of the times your counterparty will have ways and measures to make your life harder once you are out of the negotiation room. And just in case you actually want them to like you, the next question is, what does it take for them to have a constructive relationship with you over the next time? And this is where a lot of people go wrong because they think it would mean that they suddenly have to give in their positions. But no, no. They too know that understanding their positions doesn't mean that you agree with them. We as humans intuitively know that. And what will make them partners is if you really listen to them and really try to understand what are their interests and needs and work towards realizing that and come up with really great solutions on your end. Like maybe you will just commit to be the best employee they ever had, or become an amazing advocate of their company and recruit new fantastic talents. But big warning when it's about just giving in your positions to have someone else like you. And if you fear that all this might end up in conflict anyways, just check out our other video where we teach you how to approach situations like these in a team conflict. Step number 4 is the easiest of all. You basically take your highlighter, you go through your notes and you highlight all the things that you feel are important so that when you are actually in the negotiations, you manage to see them and recognize them quickly. Step number 5, you make an opening statement. Why? I have seen dozens of people fall apart in the first minutes of their negotiations, although they were brilliantly prepared. And that is because we underestimate what pressure does to us and how suddenly fear literally overwhelms us. The thing to do against this is to have an opening statement ready and, yes, learned off by heart. What is an opening statement? Essentially a couple of lines where you lay the grounds and come out strong in the beginning. And I like to do it this way. First thing you say is, we are in this together. We both want ... and then you mention any common interest that you feel is relevant to both parties that you have identified under step number 1. I feel ... and then you basically mention how your interests and needs are not being met and how that potentially compromises your common interest. Hence, I want to discuss ... You mentioned the purpose of the negotiation, and boom, that's it already. That's the essential part. You might want to add some more things. One of them can be, how is the process? For instance, how many times we should meet, how long is this meeting taking, or what is the outcome of this negotiation? For instance, a contract or a handshake. Yeah. Final bonus tip, worst case, just have fun. And final bonus tip, if you felt this video was cool, but you do want to take it to a next level, dare to get in touch with the ARC and contact us for one of our bootcamps or coachings. You can schedule a free 45 to 60 minute coffee chat, which are our coaching conversation where someone from the team will sit down with you to really discuss deeply how you can turn your biggest passions, talents and values into something that inspires yourself and others. And is the ARC actually the right partner for you? And with these words, I am wishing you a fabulous, amazing end of the day. You like this video, give it a like. You know someone who is facing a big negotiation, dare to share that video with them and have yourself be appreciated. And in any case, subscribe to this channel and see you soon. Bye.